Okay, Waka, say we're on journal page 27, dividing polynomials with long division. Example 1. Use long division to find the quotient and remainder. Enter the result in the form dividend equals divisor times quotient plus remainder. Okay, this is the dividend, this is the divisor, and this is the quotient. Okay, now first off it says x squared plus 6, but when you divide as a divisor, you have to include all the powers. So here x squared, and then we have to include 0x to the first power, okay, and then the constant, okay? All right, so now we ask ourselves, what do you multiply 1x squared to give you 7x to the fourth? And the answer to that is 7x squared. Now, I made a mistake, and I kind of glad I did, because I want you to catch the mistake I made and see how it goes to the fourth, third. Wait, we're missing these squared, so we need to do plus 0x squared minus 10x plus 143. Okay, you always have to include all the powers, so 4, 3, 2, 1, and then constant. Okay, so now back to asking yourself, what do you multiply 1x squared to give you 7x to the fourth? The answer to that is 7x squared. And since it's a squared, it goes in the squared column. Okay, now we multiply. 7x squared times 1x squared is 7x to the fourth. 7x squared times 0x squared is 0x cubed. 7x squared times 6 is 42x squared. Okay, now you subtract all the terms. And if you did it correctly, this first term will always cancel. Okay, now we combine terms. 1x cubed minus 0x cubed is 1x cubed. And then 0x squared minus 42x squared is minus 42x squared. Let's go ahead and bring down the next term. Now you ask yourself, what do you multiply 1x squared by to give you 1x cubed? The answer to that is plus 1x. Okay, 1x times 1x squared is 1x cubed. Okay, 1x times 0x is 0x squared. And then 1x times 6 is 6x. Now you subtract each of the terms. So again, if you do this correctly, the first terms cancel, and they do. Okay, negative 42x squared minus 0x squared is negative 42x squared. And negative 10x minus 6x is minus 16x. Bring down the last term. Now you answer yourself, what do you multiply 1x squared to give you negative 42x squared? The answer is minus 42. So now negative 42 times x squared is negative 42x squared. Negative 42 times 0x is 0x. And then negative 42 times 6, use a calculator for that one. It goes negative 252. All right. So now, when you subtract a negative, that becomes positive. Okay, first term canceled, and it should, if you do it correctly, the first terms will always cancel. If they don't, then you definitely made a mistake. Okay, negative 16x minus 0x is negative 16x. And then I'm just going to use a calculator here. Or actually, you don't have to. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. 2 plus 1 is 3. We'll go old school. Okay. All right. Now, this is the remainder. So, the answer, the dividend, is equal to the divisor, which is x squared plus 6 times the quotient, which is this, 7x squared, plus 1x minus 42, plus the remainder, which in this case would be minus 16x plus 395. Okay, go ahead and finish up example 1. All right, let's take a look at example 2. Now, I only have 2 examples on long division because there's only 2 problems with long division, okay? All right, dividing polynomials with long division on journal page 27. Example 2. Using long division, find the quotient and remainder. Enter the result in the form dividend equals divisor times the quotient plus the remainder. Okay, so this is the dividend. This is the divisor. This is the quotient. Okay. Now notice it says x squared minus 5, but I wrote x squared plus 0x minus 5. Okay. Now let's make sure we have 3, 2, 1 constant, so this is good. So all the exponents are accounted for. Let's do the long division. Let's go ahead and put a 1 here. And you ask yourself, what do you multiply 1x squared to give you 17x cubed? The answer to that is 17x. Notice that's an x, so it's in the x column. Okay, now let's multiply. 17x times x squared is 17x cubed. 17x times 0x is 0x. 17x times negative 5, and let me just use a calculator real quick. Is negative 85. Well, let me make sure. Let me just do 17 times 5. Yeah, 85. So that's minus 85x. Okay, so now we subtract. You subtract a negative, that becomes positive. If you do this correctly, the first term cancels. You're left with negative 4x squared plus 75x. Okay, now you ask yourself, what do you multiply? Oh, let's bring down the last term. What do you multiply x squared to give you negative 4 squared? The answer to that is minus 4. So now we multiply negative 4 times x squared is negative 4x squared. Negative 4 times 0 is 0x. Negative 4 times negative 5 is a positive 20. You don't need to put the plus sign. I'll show you why. It's known if you don't have a negative, that's positive. All right, so now we subtract. When we subtract a negative, it becomes positive. That's why I didn't put the plus sign. It's easier to write the negative instead of trying to erase the plus sign and then so. All right. So I think if you do it right, the first term cancels. They do. So you're left with 75x and then minus 11, which this is the remainder. Okay. So our answer, which is the dividend, equals the divisor, which is x squared plus 5, times the quotient, which is 17x minus 4, plus the remainder. Okay, go ahead and finish up example 2. And I'd like you to start working on the 2 long division problems from the my.hirw.com assignment. With that, have a wonderful Wildcat day.